Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two, of course, are interchangeable. Well, today, this is, of course, a Thursday fry-up, but I am actually filming this, what day is it? So I'm filming this on Wednesday night. So it is 20th of December, 2023, and it's now 10:27 my time. And I must confess, I'm a little bit tired. It's been a lot of consultations and stuff, and I just finished a consultation now. And then after this, I've mainly packed, but I'm going on an adventure for Christmas, staying with dear friends, and I'll reveal where I am on the next Hoggarly, which will be on the 20th. What is it? 23rd, yeah, Saturday the 23rd. But hopefully I should be able to get some rest and stuff like that. It's what a year it has been. Gosh, so many trials, tribulations, so much news, so much cray going on. A lot as well happening for you guys as well, and a lot happening for my clients and stuff, particularly a lot of things to do with family and real estate and all of this stuff, and particularly when we consider that America is in Sati at the moment, which is when Saturn is one sign from the moon, with the moon, which it currently is now, and one sign after. And the moon in America's chart sits at just over 7 degrees of sidereal Aquarius, and Saturn today is at 8 degrees and 8 minutes of sidereal Aquarius. So it's been sitting right on top of America's moon now for months. Yeah, this really started to kind of really kick in around October and and stuff like that. But he's been in that ballpark anyway. So I think that's a big reason as well why so many of you have been feeling so much pressure, or literally a sense of kind of pressure or almost depression, things to do because the moon represents the mind, the moon represents the family and stuff like that. So a lot of you dealing with issues with family, with loved ones, health, stuff like that. And it's just all been feeling a bit much, isn't it? Well, from next year, 2024, as Saturn moves away from the moon, it should, in theory, get a little bit easier, but really it still carries on once Saturn's one sign away from the moon. So, it's just a pressure cooker time, and we can imagine for next year as well, all sorts going on. But I will talk a little bit more about next year. It does have to be discussed. I mean, obviously I've done my predictions videos, but I don't want to dwell on it too much. Like I said, let's have Christmas, let's eat food, let's get fat, and let's not worry about things too much. Especially, I mean, look, Christmas is what is it? Christmas is on Monday? I think it is. Let me check on my phone. I think it's on Monday, isn't it? Let me just have a look. Saturday's 21st, Sunday. Yeah. So Sunday is Christmas Eve. Monday is Christmas Day. And I don't normally record on Mondays, and I've got no intention to. I think I should just kind of like chill out and rest a little bit. But what do I want to talk about in this Thursday fry-up today? But before I begin, we've got to have something funny, huh? We've got to have a little bit of levity, to lighten the mood. So I found, and this is actually, in fact, I thought, you know what, I'll make these ones health specific. I'm kind of going back here, but as you will know, Hoagie's Eclipse calculator, you've seen this. You will know, according to Vedic astrology, now remember the eclipses for the last 18 months have been in the Aries Libra axis. Remember, the nodes of the moon move backwards, yeah? So then they were in Taurus and Scorpio, and then they moved to, spent 18 months in, like I said, Aries and Libra, and they've been at that Gandanta point, the division point between fire and water signs is where you get Gandanta points. So between Scorpio, yeah, and Sagittarius, and the other one is between Leo. Sorry, everything is backwards, between Leo and Cancer, yeah. So Gandanta can mean drowning or karmic knot. So everything's been kind of crazy. We're not out of the Gandanta point yet, but the nodes of the moon did change on the 29th of November. So that means we've got all of this action going on here. And for Cancer risings like me, this is the 3-9 axis, which I refer to as the axis of travel, teaching, and preaching. And as you guys know, what's happening, I've got my retreats and stuff going up. I'll talk about that in a minute. But what this is also about is about health and healing. Health and healing. Pisces is about creativity, spirituality. It's also got a lot to do with animals, got a lot to do with the sea, oceans. So there will be continued water events. Do you remember I was saying how Gandanta can literally mean karmic knot and drowning? Look what's been happening in Australia. I think it was Brisbane, which was, I think, where Lena grew up. I need to check in with her actually, but I think no, Queensland. Yeah, it was in Queensland. They had to rescue crocodiles from the torrent. That's how bad it is. Major flooding, Rahu in the Gandanta point, this side in Pisces, which of course is oceanic, deals with water. So there'll be big themes of that around as well in 2024, plus icebergs and stuff. But there'll be lots of stuff to do with animals and creativity and music and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of music movies coming out. I think Taylor Swift and Beyonce have got movies out each. So you're going to see this big music theme. And then Virgo deals with what? Health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So already we've come to see some of these things, haven't we? We've seen the pneumonia, of course, in China and, you know, and stuff like that, which has obviously been doing the rounds to keep an eye on. But there's going to be lots more as well. There's going to be a lot of revelation, guys. I'll go into it into more detail later next year, because I mean, it's already beginning. You're not really getting wind of it in America so much, but in the UK, let me tell you, we've got some interesting investigations and stuff like that going on, and there's a lot of stuff happening all around the world. So remember as well, we have to kind of take legacy media with a pinch of salt. You know, it's very curated, and they often just want us to focus on maybe one or two topics at a time, yeah, and it gets flooded with that. So so there's that. But let me just read some funny quotes first and then get into a bit of detail, and then I'll pull some cards at the end, and then I need to do a little bit of packing and then just get some sleep. It's been a lot of work, but it's been brilliant as well at the same time. All right, now with the nodes of the moon in the health axis, I thought, oh, we have to read some ones on health. So here are 3 quotes here. So this is the first one. The only way to keep your health is to eat what you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you'd rather not. Yeah. And that's from Mark Twain. So true, isn't it? So true. And then the next one here says, older people shouldn't eat health food. They need all the preservatives they can get. I'm not quite sure about that, but I mean, it's quite a funny one. And that's Robert Orban. And then the last one here is says, the bad part about old age is decreasing health. The good part about old age is that it doesn't last long. And that's anonymous. Not necessarily true. Some people do last a long time. But anyway, I thought I'd give a little levity there, because that is going to be a big theme of 2024 as well, which you will see play out and all sorts of things. So here I've got here on my notes. So let me talk a little bit more about Trova trips. So this is fact, we're still in the discovery phase, but wow, your selections are becoming clear. So just for anyone who may not know, I'm going to be starting my first retreats next year. So you and I get a chance to spend time together. It's going to be wonderful. So there'll be a chance to learn about Vedic astrology. I've got syllabus all together for us in person. But for those that just want to hang out, even if you just want to hang out, you just want to hang out with Hoagie and, you know, like-minded people, you don't necessarily have to do the Vedic astrology if you don't want to. But it will be fascinating. We're going to look at things as well. I'm going to look into everyone's charts, how to read a chart, how to read your own chart, what it means. I always teach that planets are people. So when we're looking at Mars, for example, we're looking at your siblings, but your brothers in particular, but also real estate, stuff like that. When we're looking at the sun, we're looking at your energy, your vitality, your kingdom that you're building, but also your father. Literally, it will be the body of the father. When we're looking at the moon, we're looking at your mind and emotions, but also looking at your mother. Venus will be your sisters. For men, it will be the wife. Or for anyone of any persuasion, Venus is the relationship planet. Jupiter, for most people, is the husband. So when we're looking at Jupiter, can look at the quality of the husbands, and people can literally compare partners depending on the dignity of their Jupiter. If their Jupiter is very, very strong, great, they probably got great partners. And if Jupiter's sort of like hit the skids, trust me, we'll all know about it, but we'll be able to look and I'll be able to describe how those karmas manifest in people's lives, the dasha sequence, the timing sequence, so many different things. And it has been brilliant. Many of you have taken the survey. So the survey, so it's going to be in the link in this video description. The survey, what's that? That's to establish broadly where everyone wants to go. And at the moment, there are 5 locations that are doing the best that I thought I'll read out. So, and I'll put this in order of popularity, the last being the most popular. So we have Ireland, Belize, Santa Fe, Costa Rica, and number 1 is Italy, yeah, which is a Rome and Florence combination. Oh, it is wonderful. If you'd like to know more about these potential trips and stuff like that, and if you would like to come on a retreat with me, then click in the, have a look in the link in the video description below. It's also on my YouTube channel profile. You just click on it and you just fill out some basic information and you basically declare where it is you want to go. And I think after Christmas, and I'll talk with my agent and stuff like that, but I think after Christmas we'll declare the winning destination. It's quite clear who it might what the winning destination is potentially is, but I don't want to second guess it because you guys are deciding with your selections. But they're all fabulous, but the Italy one is just, oh my god, Trevi Fountain, all of this stuff, food, wine, traveling, Tuscan, Florence, and then the Tuscan countryside, and this, that, and the other. And you know, where I'm going to fit the astrology in, I'll have to see, because the itinerary is incredible. But we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. And then back in Rome and a bit of theatre. And oh my God, it's just gorgeous. But once the selection is made, I'll let everyone know after Christmas, and then I'll give you the more detail about where we're going. Right. So that's that. So remember, Trova trip. All of the details are in there if you're curious about them, their policies, ethical policies, carbon offsetting, etc., which I put in the last video description. So I'll just copy it again and put it back in and you'll have that. So I look forward to spending time with you guys next year and bringing you all together. Oh, you are such cool people. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, so that's that. So please as well, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell notification. And thank you as well to the new subscribers. And thank you for all the comments and the feedback and stuff like that. It's really appreciated. Let me slurp my glass of water. So I've talked about a little bit about 2024. So, and also as well, it's going to be, so there'd be like revelations, like in regard to health and healing, like I said, and overcoming obstacles, or obstacles that we may have seen maybe getting resolved or being explained. Yeah, let's put it that way. And things as well, there'll be things to do with illusions and delusions as well. I mean, we see it out there in the world, but there's still a lot of that going on. That's going to shift. You know, a lot of people are going to start waking up, you know, I mean, like really waking up, and there could be a few surprises. And I already mentioned matters connected with water and the seas and all of that kind of stuff, and potentially flooding and bits and bobs. I know that's not the most joyous thing, but I mean, it's happening. Yeah, this is what this stuff means. One thing I want to mention before I start doing some reads and stuff. Oh, and don't forget as well, do you remember how on Hogarth we were predicting about the volcano and stuff and the eruption and how it would happen? Well, that has begun. Thanks for the person who let me know in the comments. And they sent a Guardian article, which I'll probably put in the description as well. It has finally erupted now, but it doesn't seem to be causing that big drama. I remember saying smoke and lava, and it will just kind of like bubble on, and not do that big, hopefully not that massive, ash cloud, which caused, of course, so much trouble, especially as I have to fly over the Atlantic to get to my location. Yeah. Also as well, though, also as well, do you remember I was talking about how I've been talking about this Pluto in sidereal Capricorn? Pluto is all about power. Yeah, it can also do with what? Power grabs and stuff like that. And you know, I've been talking about the Hoover, the Hoover. You know, I'm talking about begins with a W, then there's an H, and then there's an O. Yeah, you got to be careful, like, you know, what you say on here. It is not being discussed in the United States, as far as I'm aware, not in any meaningful way. But it's being discussed in other places, being discussed in Europe, and it's being discussed in the UK. And we've had a debate in the UK Parliament. If there's a thing of concern, you can have a petition, and if over 100,000 people sign that petition, it has to be debated in Parliament by law. Yeah, that's one of our saving graces of our laws. And I'm, you know, obviously, you know, America's got its issue as well. We know there's a lot of cray. Let me tell you, this UK government, disgraceful, just disgraceful. Really, I mean, I could go on, but it could start getting nasty if I really start spewing out everything that I've felt about this particular government. But I can just say utterly disgraceful people that really should remove themselves. What they are doing and what they are offering to surrender to the Hoover is extraordinary. And it's really well, I'm going to send you guys in the video description, there's going to be a link to a few videos. And for those that are curious, and also for those that have courage, I recommend that you look, yeah, that you watch, so you see what is being debated in other parts around the world. Because let me tell you, this is something really, really serious and significant. Yeah, goodness, why is my phone? Jeez, who's sending me all these messages? Sorry, I just got a whole pile of messages just kind of come in. Let me just, here we are. There we are. I just put my phone on airplane mode. And it's really important. So for those of you that are curious or courageous, like I said, have a look, and then you will see what the Hoover's plan, because you know I call them the Hoover, what the Hoover's plan is, not just for people in the UK, not just for people in Europe, but for the whole world. Remember what I said, Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn. Capricorn deals with governments, distribution systems of all kinds, infrastructure, rules, regulations. It also deals with big companies as well, and big institutions and big pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. I really recommend now that we're at this back end of 2023, just so that you can have a heads up for what the big themes of 2024 and 2025 are going to be. And it really is important stuff, guys. I've held back on a lot of it because there's been so much censorship. And I'm not joking, like, you know, I'm a YouTuber. Us YouTubers, we know there's been a lot of censorship, but it's reaching a stage now where, you know, the dam is bursting on a lot of things. So I want you to kind of look at that, because the power grab that they are doing now, the UK doesn't want to leave the Hoover altogether, but the debate in Parliament is like, but should they really have control over our laws? Should they really be able to override what we want to do in our own country in the next scenario? Probably not. And that is actually what's being proposed for the whole world. I kid you not. Have a look. Honestly, it's up. There's like, I think it's about 3 or 4 videos where you'll see the debate, and even the public are there as well, some members of the public, and you will see our British politicians just really going into it. And for some of you, it might actually be quite a revelation. It might be quite a revelation when you hear the subject matter, what we're actually talking about now in the UK. Not that the UK is perfect, this government is rubbish, but at least I'm glad that there are at least a handful of politicians that are prepared to defend, you know, the public against interests, shall we say. Let's put it that way. However, before I read on the questions as well, what I want to do say is, because obviously this isn't a live recording, I also want to remind people as well, the age of magic is returning. It is coming back. So if I just get you my photocopy of my original. Actually, I'll show you the original now, actually. Yeah. Here's the original. And remember, I'm talking about this. I'll get the photo because this is rather precious, actually. I need to do more illustrations as well. In fact, look, I can't help myself. I've just done another illustration which describes the Mahadasha sequence, how a certain planet takes over one's life for a certain period of time. And I've done them as different cards, as cars, different cars. So if I go here, can you see? There we are. All hand illustrated, of course. 1 minute. So here's like the Mercury Dasher. So I've done Mercury as a Mini Cooper. I've done Saturn as a Mercedes 500. Jupiter is an RV. Rahu is a rally car. Mars is a Porsche. I've even put the year in there. The moon is, I've done the moon as a Honda, a 1990 Honda Accord. The sun I've done as a Bentley. What Bentley have I done there? It's a Bentley 2006. Venus is a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, of course, which I've done here. And if you guys, many of you guys will know these cars. You know, they were called muscle cars. Yeah, and that's what I've done K2 as. The logical thing would have been a Mustang, but really the energy of K2 I felt was this type of car, which is a 1973 AMC Javelin. Yeah. So that's my way of helping to describe the Dasher sequence and stuff like that. But going back to timing, why did I want to show you? Oh, never mind. I can't remember now. I wanted to show you this illustration. But anyway, here we are. We're coming out of Kali Yuga consciousness, and we're now over here. Yeah. So slowly but surely, human consciousness is increasing. But Dwapara Yuga, which we're going into, which is the age of energy, yeah, and it lasts for 2,400 years, but it's also the age of self-interest as well. And it's the age of tech. So, of course, if we're still coming out of Kali Yuga, we've still got these people who are still thinking in that way, and they want to dominate everyone. They want to use tech. Have you seen, I don't know if you guys have seen, Google is now building its own villages. So is Facebook, and so is Disney. Yeah, they're going into that sphere. Remember I said corporate, yeah? Capricorn, sidereal Capricorn also deals with the corporate world. If Pluto is there, that means what? Power. Yeah, more power. Some people will love it, but then a lot of people are going to be like, well, how are we going to afford to live in that? They said, oh, 15% of it is affordable. Yeah, but what's affordable? Yeah, they always say, oh, it's affordable. It's only $400,000. Yeah. All right, that's affordable. I'll just go back to my tent, yeah, under the bridge, yeah. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, we will see. So what is, we have we have elements of the corporate world that are trying to use that shadow energy of Pluto, because they're still in that Kala Yuga thinking. But we're going into the age of technology and energy. Yeah, look, and this started in 1900 officially. Look how much has changed since then. Everything's electrified and blah blah blah, and now we've got our smartphones. Now we've got AI to come along and take everyone's jobs as well. Yeah. Anyway, however, within all of that, Dwapara Yuga also deals with magic. So even though we've got all the cray-cray, even though we've got all the madness going on, even though we've got all the power grabs, we've got the fascism, we've got everything. We've seen it, yeah? There is a lot of transformation going on. There is the good side of Pluto. The good side of Pluto is what? Alchemy. Alchemy. What is happening as this Dwapara Yuga here develops, we're here with that yellow line. As this goes along, more and more our abilities for magic will return in ever greater strength, but we can start developing it now. In fact, what I see is that the way things are going, this is where more and more light workers, as it were, are going to be using non-physical tools to kind of fight back against that shadow Pluto side. Yeah. And this is going to be like our, our imaginations, our ability to create magic. It could literally, quite literally, be like spells and stuff like that. I'm not encouraging black magic or anything like that, but I mean it like it is coming back, and we can access this power. Look how much everything is being controlled. The narratives are being controlled, the narratives of fear and this, that, and the other, which is all going to be exposed more and more as 2024 goes along. We're analyzing it in the UK. I'm not saying perfectly, but at least we're having the debate, and that debate is fascinating. When you watch these, but you're going to be like, oh my god, you're going to be like, wow, is this what they're talking about in the UK? And it's like, yes. We also have the inquiry, which showed the utter incompetence and sheer neglect and corruption is being exposed of the UK government, of how they handled, what happened in 2020, the lockdowns, pandemic, everything, the whole shebang is all starting to come out, but it's not being, in the land of stars and stripes, that the conversation is not there yet. So just giving you a heads up of what is already out of the bag and being publicly discussed. And I know I've emphasized that a bit, but this is really, really important, guys. The nodes of the moon have changed. It's now in Pisces, Virgo. So you're going to see lots of stuff to do with health, healing, but maybe things that weren't quite so right, but it's already begun. It started end of last year, but it's already begun. Now it's going to be debated more out in the open, because the nodes have moved. They set fate and destiny for everyone on earth, and that becomes the new focus. The energy has already started to express itself. So, but going back to magic, very often when we're looking at all the stuff that's going on in the world, we can feel disempowered, can't we? It just seems like doom and gloom constantly, and just, oh, this person, that person. And yes, we do need to deal with that, the festering sore, yeah? Because there's a lot of stuff that's been swept under the carpet. We do need to actually start talking about, corporate kleptocracy. We really, really do. This is the corporate world. My goodness, they got so much more powerful, and all these interests, and the billionaires and what they're doing, and it's just a lot. But we also have opportunities as well to alchemize as well, to become more powerful, and we need to cultivate courage as well. Comfort is good as well, that's its thing, but as you know, I tend to talk about things that are a little bit more uncomfortable, but I'm very interested in empowerment. That's what I do a lot for, for my clients and stuff, is empower. And this is what I'm looking forward to do as well on the retreats, is empower, getting like-minded people together, doing our light work and kind of magical work together with genuinely, like-minded people. And think of just how powerful that is when we all start coming together in meditation, in prayer, in positive action, affirmation, magic, which will be an incredible antidote to the literal technology, or the corporate village where everyone's on the contract and you have to be, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, otherwise you'd be evicted, or whatever. Just look at what's going on in the world already. So this is the counterbalance that I see, and this is part of the contribution that I want to make as well while I'm here on Earth School. And that's really what I'm here for, to use to help facilitate the Shakti, the correct alignment of the stars, and that we can use that energy in the highest sense to begin to transform in the world in the way that we want it to be, rather than diktats from unaccountable, unelected institutions. Let's put it that way, yeah? And that's not even controversial to say that now. When you click on the clips, you will see things that were considered, the old conspiracy theory in the is now being openly debated as fact in the UK Parliament, and people are making their arguments. So things have moved a lot, but I want to keep it on that positive as well. We know we've got these challenges, but you know, think of the age that we're in. We're in this Dwapara Yuga age where humanity is gaining in consciousness, and we're in this tug of war between those that would rather keep things the status quo or just ever increasing profit, which of course, which is all about, which is all that these people worship anyway, you know. And a lot of, you know, people in government and stuff have been seduced by that, you know, and they've just kind of gone along with that. And this needs to be part of that counterbalance. And one of the things I would say is this, I've been thinking a lot about spiritual maturity and stuff. And wow, this has become quite a philosophical debate, hasn't it? But one of the things that I have come, just from my own personal practice and stuff like that, as to define as spiritual maturity, is the ability to hear truth from sources you don't like. Yeah. To hear truth from sources that you don't like. You don't necessarily have to agree, but the ability to be able to hear it and discern it. Rather than having, what's happening, the problem that we have in the world is everyone is being split against each other, and no two sides are listening. I'm not saying go and drink your fill of Fox News. No way. I wouldn't pollute myself. Yeah, I wouldn't pollute myself. But like when it comes up where other people reference it or something like that, you know, I'll see what they're talking about. You know, I'm not going to click on there and be like, oh, what's on Fox today? You know, why? You know, but it's important to know or hear what's being said. It's important to know and see and understand what the other side are saying as well, because there's bits of truth, nuggets of gold in there as well amongst the gobshite, and they're probably thinking the same the other way. And I would encourage them to look the other way as well. You know, if you're kind of more staunch or, you know, pro-Trump or whatever, maybe listen to a little bit to the other side and figure out why people are so concerned. Because as we've seen in Argentina with Javier Milei, yeah, who was giving all of this, you know, jam tomorrow, lollipops, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and you can sell your organs, and I've got a chainsaw, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. And people are like, nah, he's not going to do that stuff. Now look, yeah, now you can't even protest in it. He's passed some decree where he's like, well, if you go and protest, I'm going to use the military against you, and I'm going to use the military to protect the children that you might bring it, you know, in a pro-right. Full fat fascism, you know, with whipped cream and sprinkles on top. It doesn't get more. So all those people are like, oh, he's not going to do it. I think there's a lot of people that are thinking, well, that doesn't apply to me, surely. It's like, oh yeah, just wait till your family members start getting locked up, you know, for, you know, being, you know, imagine being LGBTQ or something like that, or non-Christian, or not Bible enough. You know, someone shared in the comments, this guy, I can't remember what he's called now, but he's one of these big agents on the far right. He's talking, I'm not even, in fact, I'm going to save it till next year, because why drag it there? Yeah, why drag it there? But the point is, there are antidotes. So we need to get back into those realms of magic. So what I would say is, if you're watching this and you see what's going on, and you know, you guys are intelligent, you're an intelligent audience, you know how to join dots. And you're probably thinking, oh my God, what the hell can I do? Yes, voting, of course, is very important, but it's now about taking things to the next level. And one of my definitions for a light worker really is, for me, and obviously people might have their own thing, but I really do believe that the most powerful light work is about stepping into the shadow and becoming the flame, illuminating that space. So much of the light work is about what? Illumination. Dispelling, destroying illusions. Yeah, the truth, telling the truth. more and more people are thirsting for truth more than ever, because they realize, oh my God, there's a lot of stuff going on, even in legacy media that we would consider, you know, quite friendly. I noticed many of you in the comments are like, I'm not sure if I can really trust that anymore. Seems like there's a bit of kind of fear porn going on here, you know, which is part of it. Not that there's not things to genuinely worry about, because, you know, Duck L'Orange, if he gets back in power, we all know what that means. But look how we've been absolutely saturated with that guy. Absolutely saturated from all sides. You know, the folks, they've been on their bandwagon, you know, for whatever, but they've kind of fallen out of love with him a bit. I would say, if anything, folks are probably reporting on him slightly less than, you know, our MSNBCs or the CNNs and stuff, where it's just been inundated, you know. And even though they're critiquing, they're also repeating and showing and giving free advertising to his ideas. Yeah. That all contributes to the zeitgeist of just keeping Trump constantly in people's minds. It's almost like a mind reality trap. Like I said, what they need to do is they just need to throw the guy. He's committed so much crime. It's like, listen, you're going to be locked up and we'll let you out for your court trials. And then you just kind of start serving from now. Yeah. We also need to see, thank goodness, look at that, in Colorado, the Supreme Court there had the kahunas and the integrity to say, yeah, he's an insurrectionist and he shouldn't be on the ballot. But we know it's going to be appealed. Yeah. So what's going to happen when it gets to the Supreme Court? That's something that we need to look at. And in fact, let's look at that now. Let's look at that now. I think that's a good segue. Wow, that kind of outpouring for myself was a lot more than I expected. Yeah. So we are not powerless, but we will have to become powerful. All of us, and you guys know it. I know you know it, and I know that you can feel it. All of us light workers are being called. We're all being called. We're all being called to the cause. Yeah, because this is some stuff. But Pluto is dark, but he does have his alchemy side as well. He really does have his alchemy. So we're going to look at the judicial system. Well, actually, I think the card should be that way, yeah. Sorry, I'm just doing my little shuffleage now. And this is going to be some recycled Hogarth as well, because, you know, sometimes I don't get the chance to go all the way through. So here, this question came in from Carol Newland. And she says, will the American judicial system survive Trump and Trumpism? Yeah, very important question. Or are we airborne and headed for a messy coalition with authoritarianism? So we know where that energy is coming. Remember I said, like, the planets are like radio stations and they broadcast their lowest to highest energies simultaneously. Most people go for the lower energy, the rotting fruit on the floor, because it's the easiest to reach. Yeah, the greed, the selfishness, the corruption, yeah, the trafficking, you know, all the crime and all the horribilis of what humanity is capable of. But those higher fruits, yeah, the fruits that's on the branches or higher up the tree, yeah, that's where, you know, if we think of the golden apples, that's where the magic is. But you need to climb up. Yeah, need to climb up. We have to be active. We can't be passive. Or we have to shake the tree and get the fruit to come down. Either way, we've got to do something. Yeah. So let's just read on that. Will the American judicial system survive Trump and Trumpism, or are we airborne and headed for a messy coalition with authoritarianism? Carly Newland. All right. Let's have a look. Let's pull the cards, see what's going on. Gosh, I can't believe I'm flying in the morning. I'm still getting my head around it. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See. Oh, look at that. Straight off. Oh, ah, oh dear God, I almost regret the question. But, you know, as you know, I just read the cards. I just read the cards. So the question is, will the American judicial system survive Trump and Trumpism, or are we airborne and headed for a messy coalition with authoritarianism? Look at this. Get the devil as the first card. So look, this is the real threat and danger. As I've said before, I said there are a lot of people that are prepared to flirt with this. Yeah, in Europe, you can't do this so overtly. Yeah, obviously it's moving a bit to the right because we remember the Second World War. Yeah, we faced it. Yeah, look at this. But really, what is the devil about? It talks about what? It talks about addiction. It can talk about corruption. This, in many ways, to me, are the corrupt justices that have chained themselves to the devil. And we know that is who? Dark L'Orange. But it's not just him. It's the whole cabal of what? He's the front man for all of that gubbins that's coming out, oozing out of the floor. Yeah. So here you see that they're chained, but the chains are loose. These people could release themselves at any time, but they choose not to because they're ideologically attached, they're codependent, or they've sold themselves, yeah, literally to the devil. So even though we see elements of the judiciary fighting back, a lot of them have also knocked back, you know, because a few states, was it 15 states, said, you know, we don't want him on the ballot, and then some of those weren't approved by the justices and stuff like that. This is also going to be talking about the Supreme Court as well, yeah, because obviously the decision is going to go to the Supreme Court. So for entertainment purposes only, but corrupt, yeah. Maybe not all of them, but it's been corrupted by what? Money changing hands. Oh my God, yeah. Justice Thomas and all et al. And all of, you know, these are the trips and stuff from the wealthy patrons, and there they are, like, yes, sir, give me more. What laws do you want passed? Let me go and get my book of whatever, and yeah. That's what they're doing. Yeah, they're serving these higher pay masters. This is the generous patron that can afford to be generous, but he's the one in control. Everyone else is down here. These are your wealthy billionaires and that lot, and, you know, all the dark dealings that they've done with Duck L'Orange and, you know, what have you. You know, people have to be, you know, corrupt for this kind of thing to reach the stage that it has already without this guy being in jail. Just think of Judge Cannon. Oh. Here, look, we've got another major arcana here. We have got the High Priestess. Now, we know on an individual level, this can be a person looking for their spirituality and all this kind of stuff. But in the context of this can be what? Predatory influences. This can also do with clandestine motives. Doesn't this just perfectly fit? We can see, look, here, it's just there, isn't it? It's just there. Devil, money changing hands, and then you know, clandestine motives, which has led to what? A lot of heartbreak in the public. People are just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And the outcome card here is the 5 of Cups. So maybe, look, let's get a clarification on the 5 of Cups. I'll pull one card on that to get a clarifier. So the way I'm looking at that, the cards are so strident. You know, it's tricky because the thing is, what's happened is, particularly because the media have so saturated everyone and he's so ingrained into everything, it almost, I don't want to say it doesn't matter if he doesn't win or lose. He needs to have that accountability. But so many seeds have been sown. So many people have been encouraged and given aid and comfort, shall we say. So, you know, it's, you know, I'm hoping, you know, democracy, you know, is going to win out, of course. But, you know, I think the media have to answer for a lot, to be honest. They really do. They've amplified absolutely everything. Whereas if they'd ignored him, he would have just shuffled off. Anyway, never mind. Outcome on that 5 of Cups. Let's see. Ah, the Hermit. So look, if we look at that together, this is going to require deep introspection. in the American psyche. Deep introspection, really looking at stuff. And again, it's another major arcana, isn't it? Let me just put this in the right order, the cards that they came out in. You know, if we read it backwards, America has to really dig deep and reflect on its position, what's going on in the country, its position in the world. There's a lot of despair, difficulty, misery and stuff out there. People struggling, suffering, living under bridges. Pain, heartache, difficulties, of course, the sati as well. Many clandestine operations are going on that the public are not aware of, but these secrets are likely to become revealed, particularly in 2024, 2025. People are going to learn about what the corruption or the, you know, the money changing hands backwards and forwards. And then ultimately, you know, this is about the dark agenda that so many people are trying to do. But then our response is the alchemy, the magic. Literally, I'm going to encourage people, buy books on positive light, you know, spells, crystals, get together in groups, meditation. What did they say in the Bible? When two or more minds come together in prayer, that is powerful, blah, blah, blah. You know, look at that. I'm even quoting the Bible now. But I mean, it's like, this is deep. Yeah, this is deep. And this energy can be countered. Yeah, this energy can be countered, but we can see the severity of the threat. And as you know, I just read the cards. I don't read to please. Yeah, as you know, I don't read to please. I just read the goddamn cards and say what's there. Like, it's not, you know, everyone has their own style, but I really take it seriously. Just being crystal for the message. Even if that message is not necessarily pleasant. I mean, that read that would just happen there. I mean, in many ways, that would look goddamn awful, didn't it? But that's the energy. That's what we're dealing with. Yeah. It's better to know what one is dealing with and be empowered. And that's where the magic and the alchemy and all of that kind of stuff, but us doing actively, going into the shadow, going into the darkness and becoming the flame. And if all of us become flames of light, it will extinguish the darkness. Yeah. Oh my God, I should be standing on my soapbox and like, give me a hey ho, you know. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's just so important, isn't it? So important. Let's just put here. Yes, and I talked about so here we are. So truth be told, as said, and then we're going to finish maybe on Mark Meadows. How much time do we have now? I've got to hurry up. So truth be told said, I was unable to find that specific business name. It could be a national asset service, an owner entrusted commercial real estate company. And this was in regards to taking land and basically developing it. So let's see, let's just read on the likes of Google, Disney, and Facebook getting into real estate. What's that going to mean for real estate? Is it going to be more affordable, as they say, with 15%? To who? Goodness knows who. What impact is that going to make on the real estate market in the USA? There we are. And they'll go global after that, of course, just like with everything else. Yes, Pluto in Capricorn, corporate kleptocracy can be a bit of a, you know, the shadow of that. But we can use the alchemy as well for us. All right. Maybe we create our own collectives, living spaces, group farming. I learned, one of my clients told me about aircrete. And this person's going to be building themselves a house on Hawaii out of this aircrete stuff, which gets harder and harder over time, and it's environmentally friendly, all of that stuff. So, you know, there's positives as well. It's not all bad. But oh, look at that. Oh, well. 3 major arcana. All right. This is very interesting. So this is asking about how will it affect real estate in the United States? this corporate stuff. So look at this. America card turns up straight up out of the back, but so you can tell spirit's tuned in. We, as everyone knows, most of the readers associate this card with America. I also associate it with Duck L'Orange as well when I'm looking at maybe the shadow of the card. But this is literally America right here. Yeah, there we go. But what will it do? Now, if we look here, the Four of Swords is in the obstacle position, and you can see this is being what? Wounded in battle, retirement, rest, coming back. So it's kind of like it may be presented one way, but is it, how much is it actually going to help people? Yeah, it's not like it's like a lively card or stuff like that. But could this also be calm as well? Will it calm things down? It depends how much they build. They build a lot of real estate, then, you know, it potentially could be very helpful. But look, it may not be as much as people think. This is not a quick card. I mean, that you can see the guy's basically dead. Yeah. So we'll have to see. But this also means contemplation, reflection, meditative state. If we look here in the middle, another major arcana card, we've got the world. Yeah, we've got the world here. So beginnings and endings, endings and beginnings. What this says to me, this is a new phase and a new cycle in real estate. I think the corporate, you know, they're already doing it. Google, Facebook, Disney, you know, there'll be other people, but not, you know, before you know it, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix will have their own complex. And you just walk into a giant television screen. Yeah, that's your house. On Netflix playing all the time and stuff like that. But this looks like this is a new phase here. I think this is more for the wealthy. Yeah, if we look, Nine of Pentacles, really and truly, look, it's for their profits. It's for the wealthy. They say 15% is going to be affordable. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah. But the way it will be presented, it will be presented as a way of like temperance, rebalancing and stuff like that. Maybe it could, maybe, just maybe it could rebalance things. Well, either way, it is going to be a rebalancing of the market, of the housing market anyway, yeah, because they're getting into the space. But let's hope that is in a positive, and that is quite a positive card. So I think it's primarily for the wealthy by the looks of it, because we didn't see any kind of like, it's not like we saw like the Five of Pentacles, like people down and out and stuff like that. But maybe it may rebalance the overall real estate market. Or is this just wealthy patrons, you know, trying to rebalance it in their favor? We will have to see. But it is a new phase for America. When we look at that, it's a new phase for the United States. A new era of house building has begun. But it's going to be more like these big companies doing it. So there's that. REIT. I hope you're finding this interesting so far. Honestly, I just went into total preach mode. It's the nodes, everyone. They're in my 3-9 axis for all Cancerians. Yeah, you got Rahu and Ketu in your 3rd and your 9th house. Yeah, sidereal Virgo, sidereal Pisces. Rahu's there, Ketu in Virgo. Anyway, so I've talked about that, the volcano, talked about the age of magic. Let's look at Mark Meadows. Oh my God. Oh, you know, like with the that question about the judiciary and stuff like that. I mean, you saw the cards that I got. I mean, this is just absolutely outrageous, isn't it? Him taking this thing so it can be redacted to kind of try and disprove that, you know, Russia didn't help Trump, you know, win the 2016 election and wasn't meddling. Of course, he meddled. And all these people that are still out there saying, oh, the Russia thing was a hoax. Oh, come on. We saw they went to Russia. They've had meetings in Trump Tower and stuff. Like, the evidence is there. This is what I find incredible. I'm not saying the news reporting and every independent news channel is getting absolutely right. You know, things, you know, emerge over time. There can be mistakes, but there is no mistake about this. Like, quite a lot of Congress flew over to Russia. He had meetings in Trump Tower, and, you know, that hot box of a top secret, what is it, 10-inch document or whatever, is obviously documenting that raw stuff, and they obviously wanted to what? Redact it to make themselves look better. Oh, anyway, Mark Meadows and this document. Mark Meadows in this document, which has been just allowed to leave the building, allegedly under the arm of a certain Mark Meadows, according to Cassidy Hutchinson, who has proved herself really to be a reliable witness. So I think we can trust what she says here. All right. Document and Mark Meadows. What's going on? Document and Mark Meadows. The document and Mark Meadows. And then I've got to get this video uploaded, and then, God, oh, look at this. Oh my God, it couldn't be more obvious. It couldn't be more obvious. Oh man. First card out, Five of Pentacles, yeah? This has impoverished America upon the world stage. Who on earth is going to trust the United States with top secret information now? Obviously the Biden administration, but let me tell you, if Trump gets in, no one's saying anything to anyone, because who, like, this in a way shows the paucity, the poverty of the protection of the intelligence in the first place. It's shit. Anyway, I don't want to rant on further, but look, you can see for yourself, this is the poverty of the protections of these top classified documents. How was Trump able to literally stack boxes to the top ceiling of his bathroom, one of his bathrooms in Mar-a-Lago? Why did Mark Meadows able to walk off with raw, unprocessed intelligence? It shows people have failed, yeah? The checks and balances weren't there, and I think that's a lot to do with the cronyism and those that really kind of support, you know, Duck Larange's agenda, as per the cards with the devil earlier spoke about. Anyway, we look here. We've got the Six of Cups, which is all about what nostalgia, looking to the past, all of this kind of stuff. But this, to me, speaks about naivety. This speaks about Mark Meadows' naivety, this sense of loyalty, which is probably a false sense of loyalty, wrapped in nostalgia, and he's going to make everything all right and all of this stuff. He's looking to the past rather than thinking of the consequences of his future, particularly as it's turned up in the obstacle position. And this can be like a refusing to move on from the past. You know, not wanting to grow up. I would call this as well a kind of a certain Peter Pan syndrome. But the humdinger, look who's in the middle. Now, you remember, this card, you know, I associate with Russia. You already know it already. And I always say, when it comes to these things, the Empress, ding, 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 I associate with Russia and Putin. There it is, right in the middle. So, of course, yes, this was about redacting the proof, the raw intelligence that Russia did interfere in the election, and they've been interfering all over the world. I believe they're even connected with the situation with the Panama Canal, not the Panama, is it the Panama Canal? The canal, the one in the Red Sea, the Suez or whatever. Anyway, you know, the Houthi rebels and stuff. Like, who's funding that? We know Russia are there in Africa, and you know that was part of what the Wagner Group was all about. It's all connected. It's all connected. But anyway, there we are. Russia right there, the Empress. That can also speak about America, but for me, it's the Russia card. And what is it about? Oh, look, Ace of Pentacles neck. It's all about the money. They've been selling the intelligence. How much of this document they would have to sell, I don't know. But they probably at least attempted to sell some, if not all of it. Whether or not they managed to pull it off, we'll have to see. But what that tells me here is that, look, it's been sold to Russia, quite literally. There it is, Russia card, money. And who is it to benefit? Oh, dictators of the world, and maybe this is a certain Vladimir Putin, yeah, for entertainment purposes only. But it's also as well all kind of like powerful kind of, this can talk about oligarchy as well, male patriarchy, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it is abundantly clear that the intelligence contained in this document has been compromised. It's as simple as that. And it's either been sold off in whole or piecemeal. And I think this is a lot of what is going on in terms of the Middle East and stuff like that, and just general things around the world. And yeah, it's affected the United States. So we have to see anyway. But to end on a positive note, I was going to do Texas, but I don't want it to go on for too long. Remember, though, we are in times of alchemy, times of magic is coming back. Those that practice magic in the positive, it means that magic is becoming more powerful. We see the dark magic out there everywhere. Now it's time for the good stuff, the light stuff. So get your books, learn stuff, get your crystals, get together. Yeah. And we can positively begin to change and apply our own influence as well. So remember, light work as well is about going into the dark and becoming the flame. And the many flames together will extinguish the darkness. So I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Well, mind you, actually, I'm going to see you just before Christmas, but just in case I don't. So have a Merry Christmas. Eat food, get fat. Don't worry about 2024 too much for now. We'll deal with that next year. You've already had a heads up of what is coming. But I will leave it there for now. And of course, if you'd like to be on a retreat with me, don't forget to look in the description, make your selection, and I'll announce after Christmas which location has won. And then I'll talk about the next stage. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all of that good stuff. And I will leave it there. Big love to everyone. And see you soon. All right. Bye-bye for now.